I've come to Kent and the Hoo Peninsula, which is sandwiched between the estuaries of the Thames and the River Medway. The peninsula's position marks the entrance to what's always been the nation's most important trade route, making it vital to defend against foreign invasion. As an island nation, the threat of attack on us from our enemies has usually come from the sea. And the first conflict we know about that had its mark on Hoo was the extended period of hostility between the English and French in the 14th century. So the locals built fortifications to protect the peninsula. But fast forward a few hundred years, and Hoo's defences urgently needed an upgrade. This rather dinky fort is called Slough Fort, and it was built by a very nervous British government in 1867 when we were having a row with the French. Slough was just one of a chain of forts built in the 1860s, when France's developing artillery technology and expanding navy were putting the willies up the British military. To defend the Thames trade superhighway, Slough was kitted out with up-to-the-minute gear. It sounds a bit mad, but it actually had guns that were not like this, but were two huge disappearing carriages. What that meant was that you would fire the cannon out to sea and then they would sink into gun pits. You would rapidly reload them and they would come up again and fire again. They were terrifying, really, really big, but also incredibly slow. They didn't stay in fashion for very long at all. The French threat never materialised, and by 1914, Britain and France were allies, fighting together against Germany, and the fort was pressed into service as a command post. After the First World War, it fell into disrepair. It picked up again as a defence structure in the Second World War, but no shot was ever fired here in anger and became a ruin again. Thankfully, it's now being restored to remind us all of the Hoo Peninsula's vital role in defending the Thames.